we're going to have some pretty intense fighting. So hopefully we get some good stuff going. A couple of seconds on the gates then, and we are ready for 450 Heat 1 once again. Hopefully for the last time. Alright then, boys, those revs are up. The gates are down, and off we go. It looks like a pretty nice start for the two Huskies down to the inside here. I believe that's Cam and Linz. Unfortunately for them, though, JB and someone else is going to absolutely take that away from them. JB then pulling that whole shot in front of the rest of the pack. We'll check in with these guys as we switch back to the aerial track cams. Looks like Dill Pickle not off to the best of starts. JB, though, still leads just ahead of Linz here. But by half a bike length, we go down this next rhythm section, around the green corner. Back up we go, looking nice and smooth here as we come over that big triple. JB trying to find his way underneath the inside of Linz here. Can't quite find his way through though, and Linz will ultimately take the position around the outside then on that FXR Husqvarna. A very, very nice start for his first moto of the night. Adam Ertz though on the Ace Moto. Husky closing in onto the back of JB here, trying to look like he might be able to get a little bit of action in those top two. We'll see if he can squeeze his way down through here. Linz goes down and collects Adam Ertz, so JB will take the position, but looks like he's gone down over the front of his bike as well there. And it's absolute carnage here at the front of the pack. No idea who's in the lead now. I believe it's Rum just took it there on the Husqvarna. Absolutely no idea where he's gone. There he is. He's come out completely on top. Absolutely no idea how he picked his way through that down traffic there, but he's done a fantastic job of it indeed. It looks like at least half a second, potentially just a little bit more than that, between himself and P2. P2 not having the best of races so far. We'll see how that's going on. JB versus Dorian Maritian is the fight for P2 and 3. Ron looks like he had a bit of an issue there on the Bud Racing Husky, and JB's going to go over the top. No, he doesn't! He gets worn as a hat, and unfortunately that's going to be the end of the start of his race. We'll see how he can pick it up through the rest of the field though, but it's going to take a lot to try and climb through this traffic here. Some very, very high profile riders in these races. Rum though still leads, but not by too much. Not by too much at all. Dorian trying to close his way in here on the Mostra KTM. Looking very, very nice on that bike indeed. Can we get rid of the emojis? We can probably do that. We can probably do that. I can't do it right this second, but I'll do it between motos. For now though, we shall be chilling. We shall be chilling indeed. As we got Rum leading Dorian and P2. Linz for P3, looking like he's going to try and squeeze his way up into that second place position on the podium here. Is it going to be a matter of time, or will he find his way underneath here in this next section? Not quite. Dorian goes down to the tight inside line, stays nice and defensive. Onto the table, off the table we go. Run with a little Superman here, trying to flex a little bit. Unfortunately, cases that last section into the corner. My God, my voice is going all over the place. Presenting Superman's what's happening. He really is. He really is indeed. I'm very confident when it comes to these soupy tracks, but unfortunately for him, so are Linz and Dorian. Dorian on that KTM, making light work of getting down the inside there, hoping to carry on and continue for some more positions here throughout the rest of the moto. 3 minutes on the clock then, and not a lot of time to get up and in. I believe it's the top 9 moving up into the main event, and then obviously the rest of the pack have to fight it out in the LCQs later on tonight. Cam trying to squeeze his way down the inside there, not quite managing to make his way past Rum. Desperate to get into that podium fight though. Staying very, very scrubby indeed on the MXB Mods Husqvarna, and it's pretty much locked out at the front of the field here on Husqvarnas. There's a couple of KTMs dotting in. We've got Dorian, Brovy, and Pat Sheehan. But it looks like we're pretty much dominated here on the Husqvarna 450, and I got to say, I absolutely love that bike. It's very, very nice to ride. So we'll see how the racing develops throughout the night with these boys. Cam down the inside of Linz, a little bit of a collision between the two, and both bikes unfortunately do go down. Rum gets collected as a result as well in the aftermath. Brovy ends up sending himself off to the side of the track, and Dimitri comes out on top. Almost manages to squeeze his way up onto the podium there as a cheeky little flyby, but unfortunately for himself does get collected by Cam, and it's not going to be the ideal situation at all. Alrighty boys. Linz then gets himself a little bit of breathing room here in that P2 spot for now. We'll see how he develops out throughout the rest of the race. Brovy currently holding on for P3 just ahead of Dimitri. That's the KTM defending from the two Husqvarnas here behind. Like he might be able to squeeze up a cheeky little position or two here. Cam trying to go down the inside line. Can he grab it? He gets that rut done. A little bit wonky over that next double, and he's going to have to re-secure the position. Settles in then back behind Dimitri, at least for now. Gets super duper scrubby though. Trying to see if he can get around the outside here, and there we go. That's the position, locked down and done. Dill Pickle then makes his way up through the field quite remarkably. We saw him off to the back of the pack at the start of the race, involved in some early race collisions. But thankfully it looks like he's getting back up through the field without too much worry. Dimitri and Cam almost side by side, touching again there. Cam dives down to the inside and gets that position locked off, at least for now. Dimitri unfortunately does get collected a little bit by a Dill Pickle there. And certainly not what you want to see. Just a minute left on the clock though, and Dorian leads the race on the Mostra KTM. He's having a fantastic moto here tonight. 1.5 seconds ahead of Linz on the FXR Kawasaki. Goddamn brain. Husqvarna behind. There's not a Kawasaki on the whole field. Don't know what's going on there. Brain rot indeed, Drew. Brain rot indeed. But yeah, we like the ruts indeed. We like the ruts indeed. I personally think it adds a lot to the immersion of the track. And as a result, gets you more in the mindset of the racing. Keeps you a little bit more aware of what's going on around you. You've got to pick those right lines. You don't really have the room to adjust your line in the corner, you know. So I think it adds a little bit of complexity to the race. Dill Pickle down the underside of Brovi there. A beautiful scrub for the Husqvarna, and finally gets his way through and up into P4, it looks like. Brovi then down into the P5 spot. Is unfortunately going to be having to defend that. Looks like 35. That's Linz gone down just ahead of Cam. Cam then going to be sailing past over the top of him into that P2 position. Linz going to have to fight as much as he can here to try and get those extra points on the board. Should be making it into that main, so it's not a huge deal. But you never want to lose against one of your rivals, especially having come back from the LAN event, obviously. Everyone wants to show Cam what for. Let's see if he can pull it out of the bag for the rest of the season. Cam, obviously, as we know, in the top spot in qualifying. Dorian, though, the top spot of the race here. 5.5 seconds now separating him from P2. And he's having a very, very nice night as he takes us on to our final lap of the evening. Looking good then. Cam still chilling in P2. Linz looks like he's calm in P3. Dill Pickle looks like he might be able to potentially contend with Linz if Linz makes any more mistakes throughout the end of the moto here. Probably doing it right. We've got Dimitri here. Yoda around the outside of JB on the Ace Moto Husqvarna. The KTM then makes his way through. Dan and Adamertz, or Adamertz. Adamertz. I'm going to go with Adamertz. Having a very nice little race indeed between these boys. Lipo trying to find his way through. I'm going to check back up with the leading few in just a few moments. I just want to have a little look through the rest of the pack here. See if we've got any interesting little battles going on. Euros tried to find his way down the inside of Franklek. Couldn't quite make it stick though. And Rom all the way down here now in P17. Really, really not where he wanted to be after that race start. Anyways, back up with our racing leader, Dorian, then, as he comes throughout the final section of the track here very, very shortly. Cam down the inside, trying to make the position work for the P1 slot. Can he get his way in? Doesn't look like he's going to pull it off just yet. And Dorian then will take P1 on the board here for the first heat. Cam for P2. Linz will be presumably bringing it up in P3, and it looks like that is going to be the case. P3 then for the FXR Husqvarna, exactly where he wants to be. Dill Pickle then at 4, P4 on the MXB mods bike. A fantastic night for these boys all around. Brovi then in P5. Dimitri will be picking up P6. JB is losing out on P7 to down there, but it looks like it went back to him. In fact, I have no idea what happened there. Adam Mertz took P7, JB for P8, and Dan for P9. Yoda then the first bike to be cut off from the main event here in the first main, or in the first heat rather, sorry. So we shall be seeing exactly what's going on towards the end of the second heat. See who's going to be putting up into that main, and of course who's going to be trying to scramble for that top 4 in the LCQs a little later on tonight. Everybody down in P15 there finishes up. Rom unfortunately down in P16, off to a great start, but unfortunately got caught up in some minor incidents that led to some just major crashes. Anyways, here we are then on the gates for 250 LCQ. Don't forget, it's just the top 4 making it out of this race tonight to get up into that main event. Going to be an interesting one. Down go the gates and off we are. Down the inside, we've got a couple of Husqvarnas making off to a pretty decent start here once again. Unfortunately, I have some invisible bikes, and I'm not entirely sure what is going on with that, honestly. Arguably the weirdest bug I've seen added to MXB. But here we are. Was Up has taken off the LCQ lead here for now on the Bird Moto 250 Husqvarna. It's clearly a Honda. So much better to way people just railing outside. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I definitely prefer the ruts. But anyways, enough of that for now. We have Extreme onto the back of Adam trying to find his way in onto the background there. This is really distracting that the bikes are different. I'm not entirely sure what's caused that. Deary me. Deary me indeed. Anyways, we're going to check back up with the leading few. Was Up still leading just ahead of Adam on the Moto Works. Husqvarna behind. Extreme on Husky as well there. Looks like it is only Huskies that are causing the weird little thing. Not entirely sure what's going on. But there you go. We got to roll with it. Adam then takes the LCQ lead here on the first lap of the Moto, bringing us on at that first official timed one. And we'll see exactly what cooks up towards the end of the night here. Extreme goes for a big send over the finish. Can't quite make it though. A little bit of a case then allows Howell on the Dill Pickle Racing at Kawasaki here to try and close up into the background and find his way past this invisible Husqvarna. Only 5-minute race then going to happen now and not in the main. Hell yeah, Ginger, hell yeah. At least there's more time in the main to make up for mistakes as well, you know. Definitely more time. Regardless though, Extreme here onto the back of Flynn, trying to find his way through. Beveridge trying to defend here. We'll see how that goes on towards the end here soon. What's up? Looks like he's dropped off just a little bit here, down to that P2, fighting it out between himself and Erwin. Erwin's going to be looking to try and make that positional fight happen here very, very shortly. For now, though, Extreme versus Beveridge is the fight to watch between these two bikes. No idea what they're on. Pretty sure they're on Husqvarna's. Beveridge is actually on a KTM, so, again, invisible bikes, doing weird shit. It's all good. You get the idea. I'll give my game a restart between motos, or between now and the main events, and hopefully that fixes whatever's causing that. Adam, though, leads the race by a pretty comfortable margin here. The timing gate says 4.5 seconds, and it looks like that is around the case. Was up here just ahead of Erwin, it looks like. Still holding on for that P3 spot. I thought he was going to miss out to Beveridge there for a moment, but it looks like he's kept it steady for this first few laps. And just a couple and a half minutes left on the clock. Don't forget, it is just that top four. Beveridge in the safe zone. And a pretty comfortable 4-second gap down to Viking here on the Suzuki just behind. A couple extra bikes as well there. We've got McBurdett and Flynn on the Suzuki and the Yamaha, just trying to squeeze their way in front here. But it's going to be a tough little fight here to get up into that top four. The top four are starting to break away just a little bit here. Again, that 4-second gap is opening up just a little bit here. And we'll see how that develops throughout the rest of the night. Adam still holds at 4 seconds here. Erwin alongside Beveridge, it looks like, potentially losing out on the P3 position. It looks like Was Up has made his way up into P2 then on the 127 Hoska. Hoska? Well done, brain. That's what you say when you say Honda and Husqvarna at the same time, alright? Bet you never knew that till now. Anyways. Dear me, yeah, these bikes have really thrown me off. It's confused my brain a lot. Anyways, Was Up is having a nice little race here for P2, Erwin for P3, Beveridge for P4. McBurdett then is the one to watch here as he tries to close up into the P4 position from P5. Still 4 seconds between the Suzuki and the KTMs just up in front of him. But he's got to give it absolutely everything in this next minute and a half to try and squeeze his way up into that main event here for tonight and get some points on the board for the championship. Have you ever seen a motocross bike? I haven't heard you pronounce one correctly. We never need to pronounce things correctly, Chase, alright? This is just how it is, alright? You're going to have to deal with it. I promise you scuffed commentary, alright? That's what we'll be dealing with. Was Up there then is chilling for P2, but Owen, it looks like he might be able to close in on the way in then on at the KTM. The LMC bike squeezing in onto the back of the Bird Moto Honda then. Can he find his way through the field? Well, not even really through the field. Just a little bit further up through the podium. It's always what we like to see. It looks like Was Up's harbouring a cheeky little 1-second penalty, so Owen just has to stay close enough to take the position by technicality. But of course, he will want to finish ahead on a track. You never want to finish off behind a guy when you really, really want to squeeze around the outside. Ooh, not quite going to grab that inside rut from Was Up there. And unfortunately, will stay behind the Bird Moto Honda for now. But a great little battle between these guys in the fight for P2. Keeping it steady here as we double our way into this rhythm section. Up and over the table goes Was Up. A very, very nice line as he goes triple there. Beautiful line. Owen trying to go down to the cheeky inside. Can't quite grab the position though. And it's going to have himself opening up a pretty hefty gap here actually between himself and P2. Looks like Was Up should be safe provided he can start peeling away a little bit. But that penalty that he's holding may give him some problems. May push him down into that P3 spot. And if Beveridge gets close enough, could cause him off the podium altogether. Flynn, though, is coming into the background here, currently holding on the P5 spot. This is the fight for P4 that we're watching. Don't forget, that is the position we're fighting over to get into the main event here. Beveridge can't be making mistakes like that, especially not here on the final lap here tonight. We shall see if Flynn can find his way through. Invisible bikes due to my model swaps? That is a pain in the butt, Mayhem. I'm going to have to get rid of my model swaps. Not to worry, not to worry. I didn't think I had that many model swaps, but it is what it is. If that is the case, then I will remove my model swaps. That's no biggie. It'll be fixed for next week then, if that's the situation. But tonight we're going to have some invisible bikes. We didn't get any in 450, which is strange because if I have 250 swaps, then I surely have 450 swaps. Regardless, Adam is doing it very, very nicely here on his invisible Husqvarna, having a fantastic time here for the Motorworks team. He'll be very, very glad to get this LCQ under his belt and up into that main event tonight. And putting in some pretty decent work here for that LCQ event, keeping out of the traffic, and good race craft and race awareness, or spatial awareness rather. is really what will take the cake. Adam then does pick up that P1 spot, was up to take P2 here, just ahead of Owen Bartlett. Owen, though, will take the position, as we said before, due to the penalty. Beveridge then does manage to finally grab that P4 spot. Looks like Flynn had a bit of an issue there on that final lap, and Mac will take P5. Flynn pushed all the way down to P8 there as a result of some penalties, as Mac gets pushed down to P6 as well there by Oliver. Anyway, some really good work. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But no, some nice racing here then in the LCQ event. Shame for the boys that couldn't make it in, but it's going to be a very, very intense main event, I presume. We try, Dune, we try. It's not always pristine. It's not always pristine. Colby Arms went down. Oh, dear. Mention it in the HSM Discord. That's the best way to get it. Got 250 model on. Yeah, looks like it, Mayhem. Looks like it. I will have a little dig between now and the main event and see if I can get it out and restart my game. So we shall see how that develops throughout the rest of the night. But for now, those gates are up, the bikes are ready, and off we go here very, very shortly. Down we are then, and the KTMs down the inside are looking for that cheeky little hole shot. Are they going to pull it out of the bag, though? We've got their names on here now. And it looks like Cleoxy on the Privateer KTM does take that hole shot. Fantastic start for him then. A little bit of carnage, but nothing too major in the grand scheme of things. Marshall going over then, and a start as well. Not a great start for a lot of the guys here. Some guys getting caught up in some real carnage, but Pampakasu will make his way through on the BCP KTM. A very, very nice start for himself then. Looks like Tommy Reck in P2, or Tommy Wack, sorry, in P2, having a very, very nice time on his KTM. Spocket on the 6 suspension bike, looking like he might be able to find his way around the outside. Definitely does. What a beautiful pass there. Gets his way past the MRT factory KTM, but unfortunately screws himself up in the whoops and collects the MRT bike. Certainly not what we wanted to be seeing there. And we will see HM702 and Adam then from the Moto Watts Husqvarna team. Looking like he's going to try and find his way through the rest of the field here very, very shortly. We shall see if he can get his way around the outside of HM here, but HM puts in a pretty solid inside defensive line here. Both bikes getting very, very scrubby over the finish here. Outside goes Adam. HM with the blocking move gets it done, and very nicely done indeed. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a front-end collision there, but that is racing. And as always, like we say, going to be a little bit of rubbing. HM then still chilling in for that P2 spot. We've got Cleoxy for P3. Looks like he's having a nice little time for himself. Spocket holding on there for P4. Adam not too far behind within the fight between himself and Tommy in the battle for P5 here, halfway down through the field. Aqua on the AEO Honda, currently our red plate holder on AEO KTM, sorry, my bad. Just horrendous description by me, as usual, but there you go. He's having a very nice time indeed. So yeah, we'll expect to see Aqua start climbing his way up through the field once he gets himself out of that traffic, and it looks like he's cleared himself through the majority of it, and now just has that podium to begin hunting down. We'll see if he can successfully do so throughout the rest of the night. HM though dropping down through the field a reasonable amount, rather. Glino having a bit of a moment there on the OGR Husqvarna. A couple more collisions and HM gets his way around the outside of 4 bikes at the same time there. A very nice little pass indeed. Checking back up with the leading few bikes then, we're going to have a look and see Pompikasu still leading with 3.7 seconds. A fantastic start for his night then here on the KTM. Exactly where he wants to be with 12 minutes left on that clock. It's going to be a long old fight towards the end. We shall see. Aquabike goes hard, Shower Lipo. Hell yeah, boy. Yeah, very nice looking bike. Very nice looking bike indeed. Spocket then holding on for the P2 spot just ahead of Aqua. Aqua though. Oh no, sorry. Hang on, what's going on? Cleoxy for P2 spot. Spocket for P3. Aqua for P4 still. Looking like he is going to start hunting down at that podium pack though. Cleoxy gets a little bit casey there on that triple. Once again, we've seen him do that a couple of times here throughout the race, and it slows him down quite a bit for these next whoop section. Thankfully, he gets it through without too many issues on this occasion. Aqua then looks like he's made his way up and into that P3 spot as he finds his way past Pocket on the 6 suspension KTM, the AEO bike then, moving his way up and through their field. Just that little bit more. Appreciate the follow there, catch up. How are we getting on? Alrighty, we are having a fantastic little race here for the 250 Moto 1, or the 250 Moto 1. For the 250 main event is what we meant to say. Spocket having a nice little time here onto the back of Adam. Adam, though, has found his way up into P4, exactly where he wants to be. Definitely going to start closing his way in onto those podium positions here in the next few laps if we can do so. We'll check in with the lap times in about 5 minutes or so once we get some laps under our belt. Spocket, though, has a bit of a front wheel case there, and Adam's going to take full advantage of that on the Motoworks Husqvarna. Gets his way around the outside and around the outside of that corner as well there, just to solidify the position. Doesn't risk it for the biscuit with the big triple entry, and just keeps it nice and smooth, nice and steady. Spocket then will start to be able to catch up as a result, but it's not going to be enough to get the position here in that next corner just yet. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see how the situation develops. For now, though, Aqua onto the back of Cleoxy, the AU KTM closing in onto the back of the privateer bike. Looking to try and threaten that P2 spot and begin the close onto the back of the racing leader, Pumpakasu. Pumper, though, has a fantastic 7.3 second lead here in front of the P2 and 3 bikes. And these guys, the longer they fight, the longer he's going to be able to get to run away from them. And indeed increase that gap here. 10 minutes on the clock, though. And lap times will be the ultimate decision. Lap times and consistency. Hesh, how we doing, my man? Feels good, man, indeed. Hell freaking yeah. Anyway, he's going to check in with some things. Adam looks like he's starting to make up some moves here onto the back of Spocket, trying to find his way back up into that P4 position. He's lost it for now, but I'm sure we'll see him develop some extra tactics throughout the rest of the night. Base tech here on the SMX KTM, rather. I don't know why I keep saying Husqvarna when it's very clearly orange, but we be chilling. 7 minutes to get Aqua moving. Oh yes, oh yes. Provided he finds his rhythm, we know Aqua can get himself into a pretty nice little bit of pace here. He's going to have to find his way through the traffic, though. Clean air is Aqua's forte, from what I can tell in most of the other races that we've commentated here in the MX Bikes community. Looks like 303 there had a bit of a moment. Not sure who that was. I think it's 383 rather. It's Camo. Unfortunate moment there for a Honda, but hopefully gets his way back into the swing of things. It looks like he's managed to hold on to a decent position, at least for now. Pumpakasu then has a huge disaster on the BCP KTM, and Aqua will take the lead on the AO bike, slots his way through. Unfortunately, I missed the exact events leading up to that, but thankfully did catch the actual overtake there as Aqua takes the lead here with 9.5 minutes to go. Pumpakasu on the inside tries to go for the big line, can't quite land that triple clean and gets a bit of a case on both the landing and the entry. Certainly not what you want to be seeing at all. Aqua then goes very, very nice and smooth through that rhythm section, and indeed will go on to secure the position here. 4.5 seconds. 4/10 of a second, sorry, between the two at the moment is all separating the P1 and 2 spots. We'll see how that develops throughout the rest of the night. Aqua there has a bit of a moment on the whoops. Thankfully, he saves himself. Definitely going to pick up a cheeky little bit of a penalty from that, though, I presume. Sprocket and Adam having a fantastic battle here once again between these boys. The 6 suspension KTM are just trying his best to fend off the Motorworks Husqvarna. Adam, though, looking to try and squeeze his way up and through. Around the outside we go here. We're going to look to go triple and out drive. Can we secure it? We get the triple. Not quite going to get that inside line, though, that we need to try and get past this KTM. It's going to be very, very tight indeed. Sprocket taking as many defensive lines as possible, trying to get as much speed as he humanly can. It's not even the right way to say those words, but we'll be fine. Looking like a nice safe table on, table off then here for the 250s. Not looking to really stretch out that bike too much. If we want to stay as consistent as possible here. Pumpakasu learning from that mistake down in the P2 spot currently. 1.5 seconds off the back of Aqua. So Aqua's opening up very, very quickly here between these boys. And like I say, in a few minutes we will check out those overall racing lap times and see just who's the hottest on the field at the moment. A huge line there from Base Tack over the triple. Very nice stuff indeed. Cleoxy gets his way past Sprocket, as Sprocket has a bit of a moment there and loses down to P5. Adam also losing position there, allowing Cleoxy to get his way back up onto the podium here then for the privateer KTM. Exactly what he wants to be seeing. We're so good, is this selling my awful evening? Bless you. Oh dearie me, Cleoxy's had a huge moment there. Sprocket and Adam will re-secure that position, as does Base Tack then. Cleoxy back down into the P6 spot as a result then. Certainly not where he wants to be at this point in the moto. Aqua, though, leads by 6 seconds. Absolutely brutal gap here. I'm going to check in with these lap times here. 1 minute, .094 is his best lap so far on the 4th lap of the race. And a 101 on the 6th lap, running pretty consistent times then. Pumpakasu, a 102.799 is his best here on the 2nd lap of the race when he had some pretty clean running. But unfortunately, once those guys started catching up with him and he started having some mistakes, you can see those times went down, became less and less consistent throughout the race so far. And we'll see if we can start to pick stuff up a little bit further towards the end. And you can see here that Sprocket had a bit of a moment on that last lap there, going down to 107, but he's running 102 best lap, so certainly got the pace. But it looks like Aqua definitely, by far, running the hottest time on the field so far. And looks like he's going to be holding on to that red plate for yet another week here. Very, very nice stuff indeed for the AO bike. And I'm sure the AO boys are going to be super happy to hear that one. Have a little hydrate. That's probably a good shout. Hell yeah, Deco. Very nice racing indeed. Anyways, let's check in then. Let's check in. How are we getting on with our battles for the P3 position? Not too much going on at the moment. Base tech is a reasonable way off the back of Spocket here. And Adam not too far back might be causing a little bit of a battle between the SMX bike and the Motorworks Husky. Here we go then. Down the inside goes Adam. Is he going to secure that inside rut? Looks like he does. Just about grabs it. Cleoxy here on the Privateer KTM trying to find his way into the back of the pack here as well to make this a three-way fight now for P4 on the field. Adam down the inside, Basetac around the outside, Basetac with the better drive then as we come through this next section. Over that triple section though, Adam's going to get the cleaner landing of the two and duck himself back down the inside of the KTM. Can't quite grab that full inside rut. He's going to have to settle for the central one, but gets a decent drive through the whoops here. Losing a little bit of time to Cleoxy though. Cleoxy gets a fantastic one there on the KTM. Very, very nicely done indeed. Appreciate the follows there, boys. I'm not ignoring you, I've just got a lot of racing going on. Open air though for both Aqua and Pumpkasu at the moment, so they're in the chillaxing spot for now. Definitely not too much breathing room though, still 5 minutes on the race though, and plenty of things that could go wrong. So we'll hope to see none of that. Basetac, Cleoxy and Adam, the little three-way fight to go once again here between the fight for P4. P4 through 6 then here in this three-way battle. Basetac down the inside, unfortunately runs it wide. Cleoxy then tries to take advantage of that and punish the mistake, but Basetac manages to rejoin with pretty smooth grace there. Bit of a case there on the Privateer KTM as well. It's not going to help the fact. Appreciate the follow there, boys. Lins as well. Let's go. Big W. Basetac around the outside. Certainly not going to be what he wants to be seeing, especially not this late in the moto. Only 4 minutes left now. There's still just about enough time to try and recover, but at these lap times, at these consistency levels, we're going to be looking at a very, very difficult climb back up through the field. Adam and Spocket then seem to be fighting it out here. Or Adam and Cleoxy, sorry, seem to be fighting out here for the P4 spot still. Spocket still holding on to that P3 spot, sorry, with a very, very comfortable 8-second gap here down to P4. So he is absolutely chilling by all means. Pumpkasu down here in P2. Unfortunately, he's lost a fair amount of time here to Spocket. The 6 suspension KTM then tries to make his way down the inside. It is the fight for the second place on the grid. Can he get himself a little bit further up through the positions on that box? Aqua, though, 16 seconds, absolutely storming away. That's going to be a very, very tasty win for himself, I'm sure. Choo-choo, Dugan, hell yeah, boy, hell yeah. We had our best little hype train of the night so far. Of the streaming career, actually. So we're doing very nice. We're doing very nice. Hell yeah, Hesh, I appreciate it. We've recovered a lot from our illness the previous week, so hopefully we should be chilling for the rest of the season. Pumpkasu, a fantastic defensive line there, gets himself back up into that P2 spot with a little bit of clearance. Not too long, just around a bike length separates these two boys at the moment here on the two KTMs. Very, very even stuff then here. Obviously on the same bike. It's a level playing field between these guys at the moment. Down the inside, looks to try and squeeze in as well there, and unfortunately Spocket does push Pumpkasu just a little bit out of the corner there. Certainly not what he was hoping to do, but he gets the position done regardless. And at the end of the day, Robin is racing. We expect these guys to be going for those same ruts to try and squeeze those racing lines out of each other. And unfortunately sometimes that does mean someone going down. Mouse with the 5 gifted, let's go! Very busy night tonight, boys. Very busy night. If you got a sub, once again, do make sure to give him a thank you very much. Because we've got to support the people that do that. Big fat W's in the chat. Hell yeah, boys. Anyways, back up with the race. It looks like Aqua still leads. He's finding himself going through some backlap traffic at the moment. A few more followers coming in. Thank you very much, boys. And Pumpkasu still holding on to that P2 spot, at least for now, just ahead of Spocket. The gap, though, opened up to around 4 seconds by the looks of it, if I had to estimate. Probably a little bit less than that, though, honestly. But we shall see as we come through the next couple of timing gates here. It says 2 seconds at the moment. 2.5, so we'll roll with it. You feel bad for Aqua, this shit's so boring for him? It's got to be an unfortunate one for him at the moment. But at the end of the day, it's a little less competitive than NA250, I think. I think the 450, still a very, very stacked lobby. Still a very, very stacked lobby. But the 250 Aqua does seem to have a reasonable advantage, to be honest. He's got a lot of race experience under his belt in the short amount of hours he's got compared to some of the other pros in this game. So he's always going to be happy to be winning, you know. Go ahead and just give him the chip. Nah, we've got to give some contention to him, boys. You know, you can't just be resigning yourselves for the rest of the season. But yeah, it's obviously nicer when we get the battles towards the lead, isn't it? How many hours has Aqua got? I think he's pushing up to the 1500 mark. I'm not 100% sure though. 1700 says Levo. So there you go. So still plenty of hours, don't get me wrong. It's not like he's a rookie at the game at all. But yes, he's come a long way in a very short amount of time. Spocket then trying to take advantage of Cleoxy's mistake. Can he get his way up and onto that podium? The timing tree does show him holding it for now. Cleoxy, though, must be holding on with at least a second, maybe two's worth of penalties. And that's certainly not going to help him at all here on that privateer. KTM is losing some more time there as he goes off the track. Potentially risking another penalty then. Certainly not what he wants to be seeing, especially not with just 30 seconds on the clock here before our final couple of laps. And we'll be seeing some very, very hectic scrambling here towards the back of the race, as I'm sure these guys fighting out for those last few positions. Spocket with a phenomenal drive there down the straight. What a line through the whoops. Around the outside through the sand section. Can he hold it on through the corner though? Just about. Cleoxy goes for the block but cannot get his bike in front. And Spocket then on the 6 suspension KTM will make the move up into P3 here with just a few laps remaining. Very, very nice stuff. Very, very late in the race. The timer is up then on our final couple of laps here for tonight. And we shall see exactly who comes out on top, and indeed P2 and 3 in the 250 heat or 250 main event class. God damn my brain. It just doesn't want to work for me tonight. Download bike? Will do, Cam, will do. I'll get it restarted by the thing. Husky 450, right? I'll make sure it's in there. Ban. Don't even know what's going on. Anyways. Cleoxy then trying to find his way back up into that P3 spot, but it's going to be a very, very difficult fight here. Adam is actually close enough to try and take the P4 position by technicality here due to Cleoxy's penalties. The privateer KTM then certainly not putting himself in the best of situations here tonight, picking up those corner cuts or track penalties. What about how we doing, man? Very nice stuff. Beveridge, though, not so much. He's having a huge issue there. Thankfully, we get past without too many issues here on the faster bike. The blue flag bike then staying mostly out of the way. Not really through a decision of his own, though, honestly. Looks like Spocket then is actually starting to close in onto the back of Pumpikasu. We might be seeing a cheeky little fight for P2 here develop towards the closing stages of the race, provided he can get some gaps closed up. Although, thinking about it, that gap might just be a little bit too much to open up here towards the end. Aqua, though, here, on his final lap, coming around the final couple of corners here very, very shortly. Around that final turn we come, just making our way past some blue flag bikes as usual. And across the line we come for a very, very well-deserved P1 here in the second round of the Aerial Supercross season. Very nice stuff then indeed for Aqua. He's going to be very, very happy to get some more points on the board. And move on into that next round. We'll see how he gets on. Happy team owner. Hell yes. Hell yes. Pumpikasu then will be bringing it home for P2 on the board. Needed to say P3, so very sorry for that. But P2 on the board then for the BCP KTM. He's going to be very, very happy indeed with that. Spocket should be taking P3, but Cleoxy will take it from him temporarily. Like we said, though, Cleoxy is holding some penalties, so Spocket takes P3, Adam for P4, Cleoxy for P5. This is a name that I can't read. My God. Anyways. That guy's coming in for P6. Tommy for P7. Very nice stuff indeed. Base Tech will be bringing home P8 on the board here for the SMX team on the KTM. Very nice stuff. Very nice stuff. Oh, and then for P9. And our top 10 will go to Camo here on the 250 Honda. A very nice time indeed. It's huge. It's like our biggest stream by like double the viewers. It's wild. Thank you very much to everyone that's turned up. It's been some sick racing. Hopefully we can send you off with a bang here tonight with the 450 main event that's starting very, very shortly. Good on your end, hell yeah. Super stream with the follow as well, hell yeah, thank you very much. Alright, down go the gates once again, and off we are. Looks like the Steiner or the Ace Moto Husky gets it again, this time securing the lead with the whole shot. A very, very nice start for his race indeed then, by all accounts. Cam off to a pretty poor start in comparison. Dorian getting caught up in some very, very early, very, very heartbreaking things in the early stages of tonight's moto. Adam Ertz then will take the racing lead off of Steiner as Steiner goes down on the Ace Moto Husqvarna. Certainly not ideal for his teammate to be going down, but Adam then will take on the racing lead just ahead of Linz and Cam. Linz and Cam side by side here on the two Husqvarnas. The FXR bike down to the inside, just trying to make his way past his teammate. Can't quite get his way through though. Linz then will take the position and holds on to the P2 spot for now, on the Husqvarna. A very nice, fantastic start for himself. We can see that I can actually see Cam's bike this time. 36 Bitterinos. Thank you very much, Luke. Thank you very much. Much love indeed. Aiden then holding on for P4 on the board, and Hakon very, very close behind here for P5. Is going to be hunting in for those podium positions here shortly. We know Hakon has kind of come out of nowhere this season and has been setting some absolutely ridiculous times. I'm sure most people saw his 58-second A1 lap. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Aiden then trying to defend. Can't quite do so though as the Ace Moto Husky finds his way through. And JB, look at that. What a line. A beautiful triple all the way through the section we go. Into that final single, sorry. Down the inside and gets his way past Aiden with a D. Deary me. Anyways. Let's get back up with the leading few here for a moment. Adam Ertz here on the Ace Moto Husqvarna still leads off to a pretty decent start here. Gets himself 1 second ahead of Linz for now. That gap, though, is beginning to close down pretty rapidly here as both Linz and Cam bear down onto the back of the Ace Moto Husqvarna. He's going to really have to start getting some work down now. Linz definitely closing that gap up, and I'm sure we'll see that develop throughout the rest of the race. Cam here right onto the back of him as well on the MXB Mods Husqvarna, looking to try and close that gap up between himself and his FXR teammate. Down the inside there as Linz makes a slight mistake on that inside rut. Cam will draw almost alongside through this next rhythm section, looking to try and grab that inside here into the corner. Not quite going to get it. He'll get the central line though and push Linz out to the outside and therefore take the position. A beautiful bit of racecraft there and an absolutely textbook pass here on pretty much any Supercross track. Very nice stuff indeed. Those ruts just coming in clutch there with helping him really secure that position. Down the inside of Adam Ertz, can't quite get the position done just yet, but I'm sure we'll see Linz and Cam begin to close their way up into that racing lead here very, very shortly. Linz, though, right onto the back of Cam once again, contending for that P2 position nearly immediately, despite that prior mistake. We'll see if he can try and get the position done here very, very shortly. Down the inside goes both bikes. And it's a three-way Husky fight here up at the front of the field. A very nice little battle between these boys indeed. We're going to have a check on with the rest of the field here shortly, but Cam makes a move down to the inside of P1. Can't quite solidify their position just yet, but he gets a better drive over this triple and he's going to secure it here. Cam then down the outside gets it into the inside rut to lock off that position, and a very, very tidy position there up into that P1 spot. Very, very important. I've said very too many times I need to find a different adjective. But Adam Ertz then having a fantastic time here, finds his way back over the top of Cam. Cam, though, recovers better than Adam Ertz there in the casing situation. And Linz comes out almost out of nowhere here to try and snatch his way into P2. Doesn't quite manage to seize the opportunity, though, and is going to have to settle here just behind for now. Although I'm sure we'll see him grind his way down. We know from previous races that he sort of settles in behind people, figures out their lines, and then sees the opportunity where he's just that little bit faster to make the move. Adam Ertz here then trying to do the same here with Cam and trying to gauge his tactics throughout the lap here, down to the inside, almost copying his lines there, and Cam unfortunately does go down, so Adam Ertz will take the retake the lead, sorry. A fantastic moment for himself then. Linz up into the P2 spot as a result of Cam going down. Cam with a pretty hefty gap now to P1. Roughly 8 seconds according to that timing tree, but that's got to be wrong. Oh no, 8 seconds for Aiden, sorry, my bad. Aiden certainly not to be frowned upon here. Currently holding on for the P4 spot here on the MXB Mods Husky. A very, very nice start to the night himself here, and Dan not far off behind as well there on the Field Design Husqvarna. Having a pretty promising start to the moto as well. 15 minutes then on the clock, 5 are done, and we're just starting to cook here on the race. Looks like Adam Ertz is starting to open up a pretty decent gap here between himself and Linz on the Husqvarnas here. Very, very popular is the 450 Husqvarna. The KTM making a little light sprinkle into the field here. Nowhere near as much as 250 though. 250 very much dominated by the KTM. Streamly is always a good substitute for very. Definitely. Definitely a good one. Anyways, that gap between Adam and Linz has actually opened up to roughly 2 seconds now, so that's very interesting to see. We'll see how that develops throughout the rest of the race. Obviously, another 2 seconds to Cam from Linz, so it's going to be an interesting one. It looks like Adam Ertz, though, seems to be harbouring some pretty hefty penalties here, as it shows him P3, 5 seconds behind Linz. So he has got some pretty... Wait, no, what? He's gone down. Sorry, my bad. My bad. I'm just lying to your face. Adam Ertz has gone down into P3. Linz then for P1, Cam for P2. And that is the situation we're staring at the moment. Apologies for missing that and just completely bypassing using my brain. But there you go. Linz then leads the race here on the FXR G Fuel Husqvarna. A very, very nice start to his night. And he's going to be looking to try and close up some more positions here. Well, to solidify that position rather than close up more positions. Close up with the back lappers and just start getting past them, really. That's all there really is left to do in this moto. Having a quick little lap having a quick little look at the battle between Tyler J and JB here. The Ace Moto Husky gets a fantastic drive through the whoops, but it's not enough here as the MXB Mods KTM has a little bit of a wonk and unfortunately does collect him. Hakon then on the defense now for the Ace Moto team, trying desperately to secure the P5 position from Tyler J. Tyler though down the inside, can't quite grab that inside rut though, and nearly suffers the consequences. Thankfully gets it going, bypassing using my brain. Hell yeah. What brain? Valid question. Anyways, checking back up then with these guys. We don't want to miss too much here as Adam slowly closes his way in onto the back of Cam here. Cam making a few mistakes through this back rhythm section. Certainly not what he wants to be doing, and Adam then will find his way down the inside on the Ace Moto Husqvarna. A cheeky little pass. Thank you very much, he says, for that inside rut. He used it to its absolute maximum effectiveness. Both bikes then a decent line through the whoops. Adam gets a little bit wonky though and manages to hold onto it over the grand scheme of things. Gotta say, loving Cam's gear tonight. Looking very, very pretty indeed. Here we are then. That fight for P2 still going on. Adam holding on to the position. Cam scrambling in for P3. Trying desperately to hold that position though. Linz has had a huge moment here as he closes the gap between himself and Adam Ertz and Cam, and now develops himself into a cheeky little fight for the P1 position here between these three. It's going to be very tight between these guys. We know they're running pretty similar lap times, pretty similar in terms of consistency overall in their racing. So we shall see how this continues to develop throughout the rest of the race. Linzo does lead, and Adam Ertz goes with a huge case there. Kills absolutely all of his speed. Cam then very, very quick to punish that mistake. Gets himself up and into that P2 spot. Linz will have to try and defend now from Cam on the MXB Mods Husqvarna. Both bikes then, once again, getting a decent line through the whoop, so Cam getting a much better drive and starting to close that gap down just a little bit. These boys are on another level. They really are. It's the level of consistency that always shocks me, Hesh. Every week, without fail. When I watch the faster guys race, it is genuinely astonishing just how confident they are in the corners, how well placed the bike is when they're getting ready for an overtake. All of that good stuff. All of that good stuff. So we're coming up on a few blue flag bikes already, and thankfully they are paying attention to those rules, which is always what we like to see. Cam then gets a huge scrub there and closes right down onto the back of Linz now, just a bike length and a half separating them now as we come through this first proper rhythm section of the lap. Into the back straight now. It's going to be a tough one here for Cam as he goes big line triple into the section. A beautiful entry. Very, very nicely done indeed there. Scrums himself to come alongside Linz. Linz down to the inside though, going to hold on to that P1 position at least for now. We come side by side, scrubbing over this triple through the hairpin and down into the whoop section. Once again, still knocking elbows here as we come down the whoops. Cam though will secure the lead as we come around the outside into this sand section, and a very nice, very clean, strategical pass that it was. Very nice stuff then indeed, and Linz is left looking at the back of the MXB Mods exhaust. We'll see if he can try and find his way back up through towards the end of the race. But we did see in qualifying Cam putting in that top dog spot. So provided he gets some clean laps, we should potentially see him start to open up here from Linz. But we shall see how that develops. Of course, when it's a race, literally anything can happen. And there's still 10 minutes on the clock, so plenty of time for that to occur. Adam Ertz then on the Ace Moto Husky, trying to close his way in to the fight for P2, and nearly doing so. Gonna have a little flick through here shortly if anyone makes any major mistakes. Yazoo with the follow as well. Let's go. Let's freaking go. And then a little bit over jumpy there on the double, manages to keep it together for the triple. Anyway, we're gonna have a little scan through the field then. We've got this looks like Nigdad versus Alpha. Alpha appears to be down in the back of the field with Nigdad, having a nice little battle of their own. I actually wanted to look at the Aiden Steiner battle though. Aiden JB, Finn is in there as well there, in a cheeky little 3 to 4 way battle it looks like. Steiner's managed to break away up into P5 then by the looks of it. Aiden holding on for now, but JB comes around the outside on the Ace Moto bike, trying to squeeze his way back down the inside of this next corner. Can he grab it? Not quite. He ends up settling for the outside line, trying to chase his way in onto the back of Aiden. Sorry, they said Ace Moto, which is not even the right team. There you go. JB then gets a fantastic drive there through the exit of that corner and trying desperately to make his way down the inside of this MXB Mods bike. Can he do it? He goes around the outside instead. Aiden, though, catches that inside rut, goes down as a result. Certainly not what you want to be seeing at this point in the moto. We'll see if he can try and defend from that later on. Rum not off to the best of starts here as he gets lapped by Cam. Cam still leading with a 2.5 second gap now. Absolutely phenomenal stuff for our racing leader. And doing very nicely indeed. All of that good stuff. A bit of water on. Thank you very much. Have a slurp. Deary me. So, the fight between P2 still rages on between Adam Ertz and Linz. The gap, though, is reasonably open. Roughly a second there between the two bikes as we come over that previous timing gate. We'll see how that develops from there. We got to find Tyler J here. He's the P4 bike here on the KTM. Having a pretty solid race here tonight so far, but he is losing a lot of time here to the podium 3. And is going to be struggling to try and catch up to the back of the pack here soon. We'll see if he can try and get himself up and onto that podium here soon. Looks like Adam Ertz still remains ahead of Linz, but it's not going to be for long by the looks of it, as Linz comes tripling through the section down the inside. A beautiful pass. Very, very nice stuff indeed there for the FXR Husqvarna. He's going to be extremely happy with that. Boom, look at that. Used the word extremely. Anyway, sorry. Linz has tucked the front end and just about holds onto it. Absolutely no idea how he's still on top of that bike, but Adam Ertz then nearly manages to punish the mistake, but unfortunately doesn't quite manage to come through for fear of being collected himself. Therefore, Linz does remain in that P2 spot. 8 minutes on the clock, though, and it's still fighting it out. Anyone's game here is between these guys at the moment, but the longer they fight, like we always say, the longer Cam gets to try and run away. So we shall see, we shall see. Gotta follow, let's go, baby. Hell yeah, so Linz chilling in that P2 spot then, just ahead of Adam Ertz after that absolutely beautiful pass earlier on. We'll see if Adam can go for the big triple line here. Looks like he's going to go and try and send for it, but doesn't quite get the quad afterwards to secure the actual advantage there from tripling in. Just kind of backs out just that little bit there from the lack of confidence in the in his consistency, I guess. Don't really know what else there could be. And then we'll hold on to that P2 spot for now with a reasonable gap, and once again we will go looking for a little bit more battle-a-rooneying. Hack on here onto the back of Steiner. This is the fight for P5 on the field. Both Ace motorbikes. Got the two Husqvarnas scrapping it out here. We've got Alpha there on the MXB Mods KTM. Hopefully not causing too many issues here. Looks like he's staying nice and out of the way, which is always what we like to see. And unfortunately he's getting taken out. Oh no! He's been murdered by Hakon on the Ace motorbike. Absolutely cleaned him. Very unfortunate situation indeed, but it is what it is. There's not much we can do about it now other than get our head back down and get back on with the race. Linz then has managed to break away from Adam Ertz by the looks of it and slowly climbing in onto the back of Cam here. He may be able to try and close that gap up, and we shall see. It's got 6 minutes to do so, and hopefully it gives us a nice little bit of battling for the lead towards the end of the race. For now though, Tyler J and Rum obviously on the lap down bike, unfortunately. He's letting his way, or letting the KTM go through without too many bits of contention there. But of course, Neon closing into the back of the Buds Racing Husqvarna is actually fighting for position here between these guys. This is the fight for P16. Neon though has gone down, rendering that completely null and void. Linz then still holds on for the P2 spot just ahead of Adam Ertz, but it's really close now between these two podium bikes. Adam trying desperately to claw his way up into that P2 spot, grabbing the inside ruts where he can, just trying to squeeze tenths of a second here off the back of the opponent's bike. Almost touching front wheel to rear there as we come through the hairpin turn. Both bikes down the inside. Linzo gets a better drive through this first proper rhythm section. Very nicely done indeed. You know, explode look at the streams, that's for sure. Hell yeah, boy. Hell yeah, same here. It's going to be a nice time, that's for sure. Anyways, it looks like Lynn's starting to open up that gap between himself and Adam once again, just that little bit more. Looks like he's just a tiny bit faster, but Adam contending definitely in terms of the overall consistency for the race here tonight. Definitely going to develop an extra little battle here towards the end of the race, I'm sure. Adam Ertz here versus Brovi. Brovi, I believe, yes, it is a lap down bike, so we're not too worried about his position on the track. Hopefully we don't take out the leading bikes, obviously. But we wouldn't expect him to. Big fan here? Hell yeah, baby. That's what we like to hear. Alrighty, we're going to keep shuffling through the field. Keep an eye on for any potential battles here. Hakon finds his way coming through the lap down bike here soon. Keeping an eye. Jake on the field racing KTM there. Trying to squeeze his way past JB on the Ace Moto bike just up ahead here. This is actually the fight for P7 on the track, I believe. I believe that is the correct situation. Yeah, having a nice little scrap between these guys indeed. Going to check back up with the Linz Adam fight here for just a moment. Looks like the gap remains reasonably solid, roughly around the 1 second mark, just a little bit over that. Certainly not without room for mistakes. I'm not sure it really makes sense. I'm probably going to hate myself for saying that later on, but there you go. Stay awake at night thinking about what I said wrong. Regardless, though, it looks like the gap has opened up rather significantly there, as Adam Mertz has a bit of an issue on the Ace Moto Husqvarna, leaving himself with a 7-second gap now between himself and Linz. Cam, though, has taken the opportunity to open that up all the way up to 9 seconds from 7 now, and the time really is cooking on. Let's check in with those fastest laps, shall we? Cam is running an absolutely ludicrous 57.855 there on the second lap of the race, and averaging 58 throughout the rest of the race. Very nice race for himself so far. Linz best a 58.096. Certainly not far off of Cam's time, but certainly not running it. And we shall see if he can continue to stay nice and consistent throughout the rest of the race. You can see he's running mostly 59s throughout the moto, so having minor issues throughout most laps. And I'm sure we'll see that continue to develop. 57.4 then is the best lap from Adam Mertz. Unfortunately, though, his last couple ones not quite been up to scratch, and he's been losing time as a result ever since. Certainly not what you want to be seeing this late in the race. Just 3 minutes on the clock then here for the 450 main event, and you can see Adam Mertz there going down once again in the background. Tyler J then, I believe, is actually our P3 bike here on the MXB Mods KTM. He's going to be very, very glad that I'm saying that. And up into that podium position, he is confirmed there on the timing tree. Just absolutely butchering the sentences. You wouldn't believe that English is in fact my first language, but there you go. Breezy goes down and over the front of his bars there. Certainly not what you want to be seeing, but nevertheless doesn't get in the way of the racing bike, which is always what we like to see. Adam Mertz then trying to get a good, smooth triple section here, keeping it steady on the Ace Moto Husqvarna. Like we say, good consistency from him tonight. Hopefully he can try and get his head back out of the gutter and lose those 104s, get back down into the sub-minute laps, and potentially give us a little bit of a battle for P2 towards the closing stages. But that 10-second gap is nothing to shake a stick at, and it's going to be very, very difficult to try and close here. Linz is going to have to make some absolutely dramatic mistakes that, of course, we would rather he doesn't do, because we would rather he starts climbing up and catching up with Cam here in a potential fight for that P1 spot on the board. Adam Mertz v Tyler J is still going on between these guys at the moment. Tyler still holds on to that P3 spot for now with a pretty reasonable gap. It looks like Tyler's holding roughly a second's worth of penalty, if I had to guess. I may be wrong about that, though. No, I'm definitely wrong about that. There's roughly a second and a half gap. Anyways, so that free crashes in almost 20 minutes. That's wild. It is pretty nuts, Hesh. It is pretty nuts. These guys are very, very consistent. And I think a lot of it goes down to, obviously, the bikes. But a lot of it has also got to go down to the track building at the end of the day. If the track wasn't built so well, it would be incredibly difficult to ride around regardless of what bikes you're on. And clearly the track, in my opinion at least, has been pretty spot on for tonight's racing. It's led to some fantastic overtaking opportunities, some really interesting line choices, and has overall enhanced the racing, I would say. I very much like it. Big on in stream is just talking to chat. The guy's insane at the game. It really is. He really is. Like you say, if he's it's not just the skill to race the game, but it's also the skill to read the chat while you're racing the game. That is just ultimately a very impressive skill to have that you're gonna need if you want to succeed at both streaming and riding in a professional capacity in this game. He's doing a fantastic job of both. So there you go. But unfortunately for Linz, Cam is leading. It is an 11.5 second gap, and it is kind of disgusting. An absolutely brutal race here for Cam then. He's had a fantastic come up through the field in the early stages, fought his way onto that podium, and scrambled his way into the lead as soon as the opportunity arose. He's had a very nice time indeed. He was sweating when fighting off Cam and Adam, but started chatting again. Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, once you get some breathing room, you can sort of relax a little, get into your casual state of mind. And give that opportunity to read chat. But he definitely knows when to switch it on, that's for sure. Anyways, a couple of laps left in the race. Cam taking us onto our final one here very, very shortly. Just around a lap and a half for the racing leader himself. Certainly not long left at all. Let's check in then with some extra little potential things. Ron versus Neon still going on here at the back of the pack. This is the fight for P16 between these guys. Still going on between these lads. And it just goes to show how nice the racing is around this track and how well matched people can be. Aiden here, doing okay. Unfortunately, He's had a bit of a fall from grace and is all the way down in P12 at the moment. Certainly not what I expected to see for both him and Dorian Merritt. Very, very interesting to see at this point in the race. And I certainly wasn't expecting it, that's for sure. Just goes to show how competitive this field is. And just how easily a mistake will lead you to lose positions in Supercross. Victor here then, closing in onto the back of Linz. I believe Victor is unfortunately a lap down bike, so he's not technically closing. Linz is technically pulling away. But same again. You think anyone would be swayed by those two? 100%. 100%. Doesn't matter who you are. At the end of the day, the top spec in these fields is absolutely brutal to try and get into. Just look at all the people that didn't manage to make qualifying tonight, you know. It is a very, very difficult position to find yourself in. And at the end of the day, you are racing against some of the top players in the game. And I think that says pretty much enough, really. And it's nice as well, because we have a pretty stacked EU and a pretty stacked NA field, which is always lovely. But there we go. Cam came across the line so fast I didn't even see it. A very, very nice moto for himself then, taking P1 in the first main. Well, the second main of the season, sorry. Linz then at 4P2 is going to be very happy with that performance. Tyler J in P3 and finds himself up and onto the podium after a pretty brutal fight there towards the end of the race with Adam Ertz on the Ace Moto Husqvarna. Adam then going to have to settle for P4 just ahead of Hakon. Hakon taking the P5 spot just behind. A few Ace Moto bikes here getting their way up into that top 10. They're going to be a very happy team this week. And we shall see. Look how hard it was to make quali in AMS, let alone pro. Exactly. That just goes to show how ludicrously fast they are. And they don't know me, son. Hell yeah, that was a beautiful race? A beautiful race. That's what we're trying to say. I was trying to say, like, blistering speed and beautiful race at the same time. But there you go. Finn coming across the line for P9 then, and JB will take P10 on the board. Very nice stuff then. So your top 10. Cam is P1, Linz for P2, Tyler J for P3. That rounds off your podium. Then we have Adam Ertz in P4, Hakon for P5, Steiner for P6, Dill Pickle for P7, Jake for P8, Finn for P9, and JB in that P10 spot overall.